Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's reading vlog, we are going to be seeing how much of my September TBR we can get done in a week. And it's not quite the last week of September yet, but we're definitely getting there. We've got about a little over a week and a half left in the month. And I have been reading everything but my physical TBR that we picked out in my TBR jar video. So I want to see how many of those books I can get through before the end of the month. So just for a quick refresher, there are two Kindle books that are on my TBR this month, and they are Blood Over Brighthaven, and I added One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This as a last minute addition after I updated my digital TBR to accurately reflect all of the books that I have on my Kindle. So those two are Kindle books that I'm going to try to get to. And then for our physical books, we have Razorblade Tears, This Will Be Fun, Legends and Lattes, Belladonna, and The Warm Hands of Ghost. And then in addition to these are the ones that we picked from the TBR jar this month. I also rolled over a couple of the books from August that I didn't get to, and those were The House in the Cerulean Sea, Wild Love, and On Mystic Lake. So I haven't yet decided which book I want to pick up first, and I think I actually just want to do a quick random number generator and we'll use that to pick from my list. So I have my TBR saved right here, and I'm just going to do a random number generator and then I'll count down these books. All right, I'm actually only going to do 1 through 8 because I want to prioritize one of the physical books that are on my TBR for this month and not the two books that are on Kindle, because obviously I want to read down my physical TBR. So let's see what number we get. All right, number 2. So of my physical books, Belladonna would be number 2. So the top two are Kindle, and then we have Razorblade Tears and Belladonna. So Belladonna is going to be the first book that we pick up for this vlog.
Oof, jump scare. This is what it looks like when you need to record an update on a day when you taught cycle, but that's okay because it's going to be super quick anyways. But I am a little bit over halfway through Belladonna and I am really, really enjoying this. I wasn't really sure what the nature of the relationship would be between our main character and Death because I knew there was some type of relationship there and I wasn't 100% sure if it was romantic or sexual, which I'm pretty sure this is YA, so definitely not sexual, or at least hopefully not so far. But I wasn't sure what to expect from that, and I've been really enjoying it so far. I've really been enjoying the main character and seeing her explore all the things that are going on, and I'm really enjoying watching her try to overcome the mystery that she's trying to solve right now in order to save someone's life. So far, I am really enjoying this book, and I feel like I'm reading it super quickly. It's also definitely helping that it is on Kindle Unlimited. So I was able to also download this on my Kindle. So I've been able to read it on the go super easily. But just wanted to let you know that I'm halfway through and I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping that I'll finish it tonight. And then I am planning to start Razorblade Tears as the second book because guess what? It's also on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm really excited to have that be a little bit more accessible to read than maybe some of my other choices. So once I'm done with Belladonna, I will let you know how I feel about it, and then I will hop into Razorblade Tears, which I'm really excited for as well. Hey friends, good morning. I just wanted to pop in to give you a few quick updates. It is a couple days later from my last update, and I'm still reading Belladonna. I don't know what happened. I felt like I read the first half really quickly, and then I kind of seemed to have just hit a wall. Fortunately, I have still been reading this a lot on my Kindle, so I know that I have less than an hour left in the book, but for some reason, I'm just having a hard time sitting down and finishing it. So, my goal today is definitely to finish this and to get started on Razorblade Tears because honestly, I'm really enjoying the book, but I'm tired of feeling like I'm dragging through it for whatever reason. So, just a couple quick thoughts on this. pretty much immediately after my last update, when I was like, I was worried that this was going to be a sexual relationship between our main character and Death. I'm so glad it's not. That would have turned me off from the book. I feel like the sexual tension definitely increased a ton. I do also think I said in that comment that I thought there wasn't a sexual relationship because this might be considered YA, but our main character is about to turn 20, I believe, or has turned 20. I don't think she has turned 20 at the point that I'm at, but she's an adult is what I'm saying. She's over 18. So I don't think this is technically YA. I think I just forgot her age because it feels like it's written like some YA books, but things definitely started to heat up in her relationship with both Death and one of the other male main characters pretty much immediately after my update. So I don't want to give any spoilers related to that, but the relationship is definitely not as like non-sexual as I originally thought it was when I was reading the book. So it's not really bothering me. I'm glad that it's not super heavy-handed, and I'm glad that that's not the main focus of the book, because if this was just the exact same book but with 10 times more smut and like sexual interaction between the main character and Death, I don't think I would have enjoyed it. So the way that the kind of more romantic scenes or more intimate scenes are being written has been totally fine with me. But I do have about an hour left in this, so hopefully I will finish it. I am still enjoying the book. I just don't know why I've been dragging to try to finish reading it. But I do have another update for you all as well. So, two of the other books on my physical TBR for the month are Legends and Lattes and The Warm Hands of Ghost. And I was actually able to get audiobooks for both of these through Libby, which is awesome. And I actually went ahead and started the audiobook for Legends and Lattes. If you're not familiar with this book, I don't know how, because I feel like I'm probably the last person on earth to finally get around to reading this. It's been out for a while and it's been really popular, but this is a cozy fantasy about our main character, who is the orc pictured here, and she is trying to leave her past life behind. Definitely some insinuation that she participated in a lot of killing. I feel like we don't get a ton of information about that, or at least I haven't yet with where I'm at in terms of if she was like a military general or a mercenary, etc. All I really know is that she has a legendary sword that she has with her, and she really wants to put that past behind her and live a calmer way of life. So she has moved to this new town and she's wanting to open a coffee shop because coffee is not really well known and she really likes it. So far, I did start listening to the audiobook and I'm a little over halfway through, and I've really been enjoying it. Cozy fantasy is definitely a genre that has started to crop up more for me in the last year. It's definitely one that I've been enjoying more than I ever really thought I would. So far, I'm really, really enjoying this, and I'm probably going to finish this today as well because I have some chores to get to. And so I'll probably listen to the audiobook while I'm doing that. And then when I'm able to, I'll follow along in the book as I'm listening to the audiobook. But yeah, I just wanted to give you that update. I was really excited to get the audiobook for this through Libby, and that it timed up perfectly with me trying to finish out my TBR for the month. So hopefully I will have an update for you later today where I have finished both Legends and Lattes and Belladonna, and I can get started on Razorblade Tears and Warm Hands of Ghost. But I will chat with you soon. All right, I finally finished Belladonna. I am so happy that I finally got back into this and was able to power through the last little bit. And honestly, the pace did pick up at the end. Things really started to kind of go haywire. So it was hard to put it down in the last hour of the book. And I have to say, I did see some of the things coming. I kind of had figured out who was the culprit we were trying to find. And I also had figured out something else about one of the characters, which I'll just speak really vaguely about because I don't want to give anything away about that one. But I really, really liked how this book ended. I felt like it really made me excited about reading the second book, Foxglove, which I do have. So I do have both Foxglove and Wisteria. So I definitely think I will be continuing Foxglove in October now that I have finished Belladonna. And my final rating for this was 4.25 stars. I do think I probably would have rated this higher if I hadn't kind of hit that little slumpy bit where I was struggling to get through that section right after the 50% mark. But overall, I was really happy with this read. I do think that this still came across kind of YA, even though I feel like the character is an adult, so it should feel a little more adult. So I felt like the writing was maybe a little bit juvenile, but I really liked the book. So I'm looking forward to reading the next two. I think they're going to be pretty easy, quick reads. And the ending of this made me super, super excited for the next one. And I also finished Legends and Lattes. So I was mostly listening to the audiobook for this, and it is a pretty short audiobook, so I wasn't surprised that I finished this really quickly. And I ended up rating Legends and Lattes 4 stars. I thought this was really cute, and it was a really fun, cozy fantasy. Right after my last update, I think some crazy stuff kind of happened, and I was really excited because I thought we were about to get one development in the plot that I was really looking forward to, and then something else kind of crazy happened that kind of shifted the focus away from that, and then we got back to it. But I thought this book was really sweet overall. I don't have a ton of thoughts and feelings about this. I think it really provides what it promises in terms of being just a really lovely, cozy fantasy with fun characters. And I thought it was super sweet. So I am really excited to read Bookshops and Bone Dust. I think that might be the next one or something similar to that. And I don't know if that one's a prequel or a sequel to this one, but I am still really excited to read more of Travis Baldry's writing. So rated this one 4 stars and rated Belladonna 4.25, but I can now set those aside and get into the next two books. Up next on my plans, I have Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby, and this was also on Kindle Unlimited, so I am planning to use the ebook a little bit for this. And then I have Warm Hands of Ghost on audiobook, and I have listened to some of Catherine Arden's other work on audiobook, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm excited for that. So I will update you once I'm halfway through. All right, I have an update, and it's probably going to be my last update for this vlog, but I did finish The Warm Hands of Ghost by Catherine Arden. I was mostly listening to the audiobook. Thanks to Libby, I was able to get that, and I really ended up enjoying this. I thought it was really interesting that in the author's note, Catherine Arden mentioned that there aren't a lot of stories about World War One and the things that happened during World War One, and she wanted to take this perspective of how would a devilish character act if he was in that setting, and I could definitely see that throughout the whole novel, and I thought her take was really interesting. One thing that I really like about Catherine Arden's writing is that it's definitely magical realism, but it's also always historical fiction. And so I have found that I really like that blend of those two things of magical realism and historical fiction. So I enjoyed this. I did ultimately rate it 4 stars. I thought this was really interesting and how it explored relationships between characters and how it explored our main character, or at least who I would think was the main character of this story, how it explored her relationship with herself, especially after she had been injured and had witnessed something very traumatic, and then how she kind of found herself through finding her brother. And that's kind of the overall arc of the story, is she's trying to find her brother. But I found the magical parts of this really interesting, although I will say I do kind of wish it all went a little bit further. Like, I wish there was a little bit more here. I previously read a trilogy by Catherine Arden that is a 5 star trilogy for me, and I really think the story that expanded over all three of those books really made it a 5 star experience. So I think if I had seen more of this, it would have also made this a 5 star experience for me. But I do still really enjoy her writing, and I enjoyed how this story came together. It just wasn't as impactful for me as her previous books that I've read. But like I said, this is probably going to be the last update because I'm out of time for the month. So, in addition to The Warm Hands of Ghost, We did also get to Belladonna, which I rated 4.25 stars, and I am still thinking about this, even though I'm here at the end of the video and I've read a couple other books. So I'm definitely wanting to start the second book very soon, and hopefully I'll get to that in October. And I also finished Legends and Lattes, which I rated 4 stars, and I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a super cute, cozy fantasy, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for that. I think for me right now, because I'm looking at going into October, I'm more in the mood for like some moody reads or spooky things, and this book might have been better for me later in the year, more towards like November, when I'm feeling really cozy vibes. So I think, unfortunately, I probably would have rated it higher if I read it in a different mindset, but overall, I did really enjoy this. Now, I did also start Razorblade Tears, and I'm about a quarter of the way through this book, and I can tell you so far, I am really, really enjoying this. I wish I could have finished it for this video so that I could give you my overall review and rating, but so far, I'm really, really enjoying this book. It definitely deals with some very difficult topics, but I'm enjoying the writing so far, and honestly really wishing that I had picked this up a lot sooner. So the only book technically on my September TBR that I had a physical copy of that I didn't get to was This Will Be Fun by E.B. Asher, but I am still planning to read this. So as soon as I finish Razorblade Tears, I do want to pick this up because I think this will complement my October reads really nicely, and I am still really excited about this book. So I'm disappointed that I didn't get to that in this video, but I definitely will. And then I did have one Kindle book that I definitely chose during my September TBR video that I didn't get to, and that was Blood Over Brighthaven, which I definitely do want to read before the end of the year because I've read one other book by that author back in January that was a 5-star read for me. So I'm hoping that this one will also be a 5-star read. And then in addition to the books that I selected in my September TBR video, I had also carried over 3 books from my August TBR onto my September TBR, and I didn't get to those. But to be honest with you, I also wasn't really prioritizing them. And I would say right now, I'm really only in the mood to read The House in the Cerulean Sea out of those 3. So the 3 were The House in the Cerulean Sea, Wild Love, and On Mystic Lake. And right now, I'm not really feeling On Mystic Lake or Wild Love. I think in my mind, those are a little bit more summery. So I might still try to get to The House on the Cerulean Sea soon, but it definitely wasn't a priority for me. So I'm pretty happy with this. Technically, out of the 6 books that I chose, I have gotten to 4 of them. I will be finishing Razorblade Tears soon. So even though I haven't finished it in time to be included in this vlog, I am still going to consider that one done for the sake of my 6 books that were on my TBR. And then hopefully I'll get to the extra books that I had added in there as well. But that is going to be it for today's video. Hopefully I'll do better with my October vlog, but thank you so much for watching and for joining me as I tried to finish my TBR this week, and I hope you have a good one. Bye!